Hi y'all, this is Kendall. Today for an interesting Christianity sit down for a YouTube channel. I decided we're gonna just read the Bible as much as we can. In this case, I picked Ruth, mainly because I did some research, because reading the whole Bible can be hard, especially at first in the Old Testament, dealing with genealogy, and according to my research, a lot of the genealogy slows down for Ruth. Now, am I gonna make it a habit doing this, like every week? For Christianity YouTubing, I don't know, because to be honest, I'm not the best at Bible reading a lot, which is bad for a Christianity weakness, although I do stream a lot of church services like crazy, so hopefully that'll make up for it. But yeah, let's get started. Naomi loses her husband and sons. In the days when Starting in Ruth chapter 1. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land. So a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Iamich. His wife's name was Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Judah, and they went to Moab and lived there. Now, Iamich, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Oprah and the other Ruth. After they had lived there about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. Naomi and Ruth returned to Bethlehem. When Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord has come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, she and her daughters-in-law prepared to return home from there. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living and set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her 2 daughter-in-laws, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness as you have shown kindness to your dead husband and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." Then she kissed them goodbye, and they wept aloud and said to her, "We will go back with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? I am going to have any more sons who could become your husbands. Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters, it is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has turned against me." At this they wept aloud again. Then Oprah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. "Look," said Naomi, "your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her." But Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, but it ever so severely, if ever death separates you and me. When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to. The Lord bless you, my daughters, he replied. This kindness is greater than which you showed earlier. You have not run after the younger men, whether rich or poor, and now, my daughter, don't be afraid. I will do for you all you ask. All the people in my town know that you are a woman of noble character. Although it is true that I am a guardian redeemer of our family, there is another who is more closely related than I. Stay here for the night, and in the morning, if he wants to do his duty as your guardian redeemer, good. Let him redeem you. But if he is not willing, as surely as the Lord lives, I would do it. Lie here until morning. So she lay at his feet until morning, but got up before anyone could be recognized. And he said, no one must know that a woman came to the threshing floor. Threshing floor. He also said, bring me the shawl you are wearing and hold it out. When she did so, he poured it into 6 measures of barley and placed the bundle on her. Then he went back to town. When Ruth came to her mother-in-law, Naomi asked, how did it go, my daughter? Then she told her everything Boaz had done for her, and added, he gave me these 6 measures of barley, saying, don't go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed. Then Naomi said, wait for my daughter until you find out what happens, for man will not rest until matter is settled today. Ruth meets Boaz in the grain field. Now Naomi had a relative on her husband's side, a man standing from the clan of Elimelech, whose name was Boaz. And Ruth and the Moabite said to Naomi, let me go to the fields and pick up the leftover grain behind anyone in whose eyes I find favor. Naomi said to her, go ahead, my daughter. So she went out, entered the field, and began to glean behind the harvesters. As it turned out, she was working in a field belonging to Boaz, who was from the clan of Elimelech. Just then Boaz arrived from the Bethlehem and greeted the harvesters. The Lord will be with you. The Lord bless you. They answered. Boaz asked the overseer of his harvesters, what does that young woman belong to? The overseers replied, she is the Moabite who came back from Moab with Naomi. She said, please let me glean, and gather among the sheaves behind the harvesters. She came into the field and has remained here from morning till now, except for a short rest in the shelter. So Boaz said to Ruth, my daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field, and don't go away from her. Stay here with the woman who worked for me. Watch the field where the men are harvesting, and following along after the woman. I have told the men not to lay a hand on you. And you, wherever you are thirsty, go and get a drink from the water jars the men have filled. At this she bowed down with her face to the ground. She asked him, Why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me, a foreigner? Bozo replied, I've been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband. You have left your father and mother and your homeland and came to live with the people you did not know before. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. May I continue to find favor in your eyes, my Lord, she said. You have put me at ease by speaking kindly to your servants, though I do not have the standing one of your servants at mealtime. Bozo said to her, Come over here, have some bread, dip it in the wine vinegar. When she sat down with her harvesters, he offered her some roasted grain. She ate all she wanted and had some left over. As she got up to glean, Bozo gave orders to his men. Let her gather among the sheaves, and don't re-pyramid her. Even pull out some stalks for her from the bundles and leave them for her to pick up, and don't rebuke her. So Ruth gleaned in the field until evening. Then she threshed the barley she had gathered in it among to an ephah. She carried it back to town, and her mother-in-law saw how much she had gathered. Ruth also brought out and gave what she had left over after she had eaten enough. Her mother-in-law asked her, Where did you glean today? Where did you work? Blessed be the man who took notice of you. Okay, bye, y'all.